is with me, Lynette Fay, and it feels like you're just dropping in mid-conversation here because the crack is already 90 with Niall Hanna and Rachel McGarrity, special guests this week. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Lynette. How's it going?
Yes, and we have to tell everyone listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, Niall, here you are a seasoned professional at this kind of stuff. Rachel, first time I've got you behind a microphone and I'm so happy.
God knows what's going to come out, but sure.
That is the beauty of podcasting, the beauty of it. Great to see you two are performing at the Sunday Song gig in Maddens. We're here in a booth, and I do make the joke that basically starting a podcast was what we had to do to get a booth in Maddens, because you can never get a seat. But you'll be over on the other side of the room here later on this evening performing. And what a repertoire of songs and tunes you have. But I wanted to know, how did the two of you meet?
You're going back there.
Because you're married. This is the love.
Yes.
This is the love story.
Yeah.
Well, we played in a couple of groups. Like, do you remember that competition, Scienza?
Yes, Scienza Gaelin. Yeah.
That was
still going.
We played in a group, but we went to different schools. So we didn't really know each other at that time, but it was through that.
Was it primary or secondary school?
That was
secondary?
in secondary school, yeah.
So which school were you?
I was in the academy in Dungannon. And
I was Donmore Convent.
Oh, right, okay. This is Love Across the Barricades.
Yes, that's right.
I know, I'd never seen a boy.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. It was the second year of intake for boys, but it was, So.
So it was that, but that was a long time. Like,
we were 17.
Yeah. But we didn't. Then, whenever we came to Belfast as students, then we were playing sessions, but we weren't together. Like,
just friends.
That sort of came a lot later.
Oh, so started off as friends then.
Oh yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
And playing music, yeah. And your brother Kieran, I would have played with him quite a lot because he's melody player. But you were too busy. You were in the rock bands and all for a while as well.
That's right. Yeah. Grunge
in the fort.
Phase.
That's right, because I remember talking to your daddy, Niall, and he was telling me that you turned your back on the trad stuff maybe in the teenage years. There was a wee bit of a rebellion going on.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
what was that about?
Well, I used to play the fiddle whenever I was growing up, and then I have a memory of going into school, into the academy with the fiddle stuck inside a football bag because I didn't want anybody to see it. So it's kind of changed times now, like. But I remember just going on with my dad for a long time, just saying I don't want to do this anymore, and then but I want to play electric guitar. So Daddy eventually gave in then, and one Christmas there was an electric guitar, so that was the start of that.
Good man, Jim.
So so then I played a bit of rock music and stuff, and it wasn't heavy metal, like, you know, but it would have been
soft rock.
It wasn't trad anyway, like, you know, it wasn't what my dad wanted me to be playing, like, but then I came back to it later on. So, but
did you ever fall out with it, Rachel?
Not really. Like, I have a classical background as well, so I suppose it was just fighting one over the other at times. Like, all the sessions at home in the youth sessions used to be a Friday evening, but I'd have Saturday morning orchestra to go to, so it's kind of like, oh, I'll skip this one because I'm up early, you know, that kind of way. But no, like, I've always kind of been playing, but you can enjoy other types of music, and you know, like, I would have went to the fort when you were playing. You can still embrace it all, but it's just it's always been there, like, you know.
Yeah, the fort, we need to explain to people who don't understand.
Yes, it was.
It feels like if you don't understand and you weren't there, you've missed out, because the fort was just amazing. It was
iconic.
A bar at the top of Scotch Street in Dungannon, and there was great music upstairs.
Live bands,
discos, bands, you name it. People coming to play in the fort where they weren't playing anywhere else. It was just it was an education, really.
Yeah.
Going to the fort, and real great kind of community, and you just met a lot of like-minded people there.
Yeah.
And it was good for the Kurt as well, obviously.
That's right.
You went there to meet somebody and have a good Kurt, maybe in Scotch Street at the end of the night waiting on the taxi. Let's face it.
Yeah, outside Big Macs. Yeah.
or a ride maybe about a football match that happened 3 weeks ago.
Oh God.
But those couple of years, we were actually talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, recently.
We were talking about it yesterday with Rachel's sister and Connor, who I was in. I went to the fort with Connor and
we all would have went.
all that same crowd, and we were talking about just those couple of years. It just only seemed to only last a few years.
Yeah, but the band scene was so
the band
strong.
scene was really like around Dungannon. It was like, and it was sort of, they ran the Battle of the Bands competition in the summertime.
It was a big one, yeah.
It was a really big one. And yeah, but it was like encouraging a lot of original music.
Give you a focus.
I think you had to have original songs. You couldn't just get up and do covers like so. But it was and Barry Lynch was one of the big, God rest him, he was one of the big sort of people behind it. And but it was a great experience, like even that whole Battle of the Bands thing, it was great.
Yeah.
But it was just a mighty spot to go to during the summertime. Thursday nights, I think it was.
Yeah. And music just being to the core of that experience of growing up and coming of age experience, because music is just such a big part of who we are.
Yep.
All types of music. And it's interesting, even when we started chatting and already, you were talking about, hiding the fiddle in the football bag, but playing the rock music with pride. The fact that you felt that you had to choose between the two in a way, you with your classical music and the trad music as well, that there was that kind of maybe a wee bit of conflict there. But I think maybe now you're at a stage where everything goes and you can just do whatever you want, and it all has fed into you getting to this point, which has made you maybe richer in the experience. But Rachel, like Niall, we'll talk about your background in a minute, because one of the Hannas from Derrytresk, your great granddad was Geordie Hanna, the brilliant singer. Your daddy too, Jim, amazing musician in the Clonot Pipe Band. Saw him rocking in Clonus there a couple of weeks ago, just before the Armagh Tyrone match. Thought it was a good omen. It wasn't, unfortunately. But Rachel, yourself then, what's your background? How did you start playing music?
So I went to primary school in Donaghmore, and there was a real push for music in that school. The principal at the time was Colin McCaffrey from Cookstown, and then Eddie Doris, I'm sure you know of Eddie. He was my primary 4 teacher, and we all were given the opportunity to start music in P4, so I was like 7 or 8. And then so Eddie would have, it was recorder back then, it wasn't a whistle, and we all learned how to read sheet music and play a recorder, which looking back was insane. But we all did it, and I think most people enjoyed it. And then at the same time, I also got picked fell in through the music service. So I started that. And then we also had Breach Harper coming in to do whistle classes, tin whistle and fiddle. So it was just insane the amount of opportunities we got. And I think that is such a big thing, because if I had been somewhere else, it mightn't have worked out the way that it did, But
the exposure to the music at that age,
like it was very accessible. Everybody got a chance, type thing. But I was the only one really that stuck at it, in my year, and then it just went from there. But in regards with background, my dad's family would all be very good singers. They don't play any instruments or anything like that. They probably never got the opportunity. But there would have been sessions on in Granny's house. Like the comics from Donaghmore would have come over. And I think Daddy's granny played the melodeon. So, that was going on in the house. And then my mum's from Monaghan. Shout out, woohoo, up the Farney. And then her father played the button accordion. And he would have played in Keeley Band. So, there's a musical influence on both sides, but my parents don't play. But they have good ears, good rhythm and stuff. So
and in favour of it.
Yeah, very supportive, and but not pushy. You're like, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, I think that was a big thing, because if you get pushed too hard, sometimes then you're like, it's counter productive or whatever, But very supportive, and I'm just very lucky.
So it seems like you've tapped into something that was in the blood, was in the DNA anyway.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
Yeah, I think maybe just skipped, a generation. Daddy, there was no music education at his primary school, or mum's, so lots of singing though. Like Daddy is a great singer. All the McGarritys are good singers, so
something you just tapped into there when you said about being a singer. Growing up at a particular age, maybe in the 80s particularly, I think here, if you were a singer, it wasn't looked upon as being a talent at all.
Yeah.
But if you played an instrument, then you're a musician, and we'll respect you if you play an instrument. But instruments were dear. Instruments were expensive, and not everybody could afford them. No. And the exposure to them, it was just really, you were in a privileged position.
Yeah.
And that EA experience of being chosen for the orchestra, that was invaluable, really. And is a couple of focal for Urhori and Fod Crealta Shaw. A couple of words about our very kind sponsors, Rira. Irish lager. Nish, Rira, if you haven't heard about it, it kind of sums up the unpredictable devilment that Irish people are so very good at, particularly here in Maddens, in the heart of Belfast. So Rira celebrates the best bits of being Irish by creating reasons to talk, to meet, to gra, to bant, to hear, to be heard, to be lechela, just that little more often. So music at Maddens, dig it and dig and tussa, agus anish, scoopla fuckle a charja for 18s and over. And please drink responsibly. Couple of focail anish fwy ar a hurry and fod crealta shaw music at Maddens. Music at Maddens is sponsored by McIlroy Guitars. Perfectly balanced, superb craftsmanship, wonderful clarity and tone, a truly unique sound. It's only natural to want one. McIlroyguitars.co.uk for more details.
Oh yeah, like and even at that time, the principal, like all the lessons were covered for. Like my mum and dad didn't have to pay for tuition fees, which is massive, like, you know. So yeah, really, really lucky that I had access to music from a young age. And I didn't know I was good at it at that age, but I had the opportunity to learn. Yeah. So that's really important.
And here you are now working with the ADA.
I know, it's like full circle. Kate McSherry taught me, which is Kate O'Brien, great trad fiddle player as well. So she taught me, and now I work with her, and now I take an orchestra with her. So it's, you know what I mean? It's class the way it's worked out. I'm just very, very lucky. But yeah, so.
And how do you think things are now for opportunities and exposure to music? Because music again is never. It's never looked upon as something that is necessary. Mm-hmm. It's always an extra, and maybe a luxury in some cases. Yeah. Are we any better off now with exposing young children to music who maybe wouldn't have the opportunity?
Yeah, like I think you know, there's lots of different groups in the community, like Cultus as well. They offer lessons, and they try to keep the cost down as much as possible. And then with us, I know children who maybe are struggling to pay or free school meals, they get so much remission off their fees, so they try and make it you know, as much as possible, but it has definitely changed. Like school budgets are so tight now, mm-hmm. so they can't afford to, as you say, it's a luxury, they can't afford to put the money in that when they need to buy basic books, mm-hmm. you know. So it's kind of like the state of education where it is. Music is kind of, you know, still
down the pecking order
with other subjects, but there's still lots of there's more Wayans that seem to be learning music now than even when I was growing up, which is weird. Like it's become really popular, and I think people realise the other skills. You know, it develops confidence in children, and it's not just about playing an instrument. It's such a big social thing as well, making friends, maybe meeting your future wife, husband, whatever as well. And it's definitely more popular with teenage boys now, so I think, you know, people have twigged on to that, because it really wasn't popular with boys whenever I was growing up. Really not, like.
No, wasn't popular with Niall Hanna either.
No, hiding it in a football bag, like.
That's it, yeah.
But do you think you grew up in a household where songs were bread and butter, music was just always there, mm-hmm. Niall? You know, when you started playing, you played the guitar as well prolifically. You also said there about playing the fiddle. Can you remember singing? Would you have been very young when you started singing?
Very, very young, yeah. I think there's video clips in our house that somebody managed to get working again, like, you know, like those old the handheld camera thing, you know. But in one of them, like, we're singing, me and my brother Kieran's both singing, like, you know, one of Granda's songs, like. So Daddy would have just taught us wee bits. Daddy didn't sing himself, but he would have sang in the house and taught us wee bits of songs in the house, like. So that was going on from a very early age, like. And then the at that time as well, the Clonaux band was going. They were at their heights in the 90s, like, and
Clonaux Pipe Band.
Mm-hmm.
Clonaux Pipe Band, and they were competing in the Worlds, and they were Daddy was the pipe major of the band, so he was fully immersed in that, like, and we were tagging along to all the competitions and all that too, so that was all going on too, like. But my mum's side of the family, like, mum's uncle Frank O'Neill taught my dad the bagpipes, like. So my mum's family would be very heavily involved with the pipe band as well, so that was all going on as we were growing up, as well as the trad music, you know, the singing and all of that. And then my granddad's festival was happening every year, so there was a lot of stuff happening, you know, and it was just a normal thing, like.
Yeah, it was just part of life for you.
Yeah.
Because the Geordie Hanna Festival would have been at the start of November.
Yep.
And then fed straight into the Armagh Piping Festival as well, or there wouldn't have been much between them.
Yeah, 2 weekends.
It was 2 weekends, maybe Ennis in between.
Yeah, you're right.
To let everybody go to Ennis. I just remember that being on the calendar, that you got to November and you were like, okay, deep breath, because this is going to be a busy lock of weeks, because it was just always brilliant. And when you mentioned your granddad, Geordie Hanna, he was a singer from the Loch Shore, sang songs of the area about the people, maybe songs that had been written by locals, songs that no one knew who wrote them, and people came to collect the songs off him because of his phrasing, because of the words, but because the songs weren't available elsewhere, and he had an extreme repertoire. It's brilliant, and thankfully recorded that it's been handed down. But you never knew your granddad. So when did you become aware that, you know, this was a thing in your house, that singing was a thing in your house?
I think must have been pretty early on. Like, my brother would have been more into playing the music, and I would have been singing a lot more. So it was sort of established that I was going to be the one learning the songs. Kieran didn't have much interest in learning the songs. Like, he just wanted to play. So I would have been listening to tape recordings that my dad or my Aunt Mary or Yelish would have had in the house, and started learning songs of my granda's, and that's how it all started, really. You know? All
back to the tapes, and you know, keeping things. Whenever these days we're so quick to throw stuff out.
Yeah,
I know, and at the time you know, I probably didn't realize how lucky I was to have, you know, all of those recordings and material and all that, like, and it wasn't much later that I probably started to appreciate it a lot more, you know. Well,
whenever you after your rebellious phase, let's say, whenever there was a time came when the leather jacket was maybe packed away, was it, Niall?
I put the eyeshadow away.
Eyeliner.
So, but no, I was in around about 16, 17 then. I remember going to see my brother playing at something. It might have been Score, actually. And Mickey Cure was playing in one of the other groups, but he was playing this dadgad tuning, and I had never seen it, like, and he was playing, and I remember whenever talking to my brother, I says, what's he doing there on the guitar, you know? And Kieran was like, oh, that's dadgad tuning, that's the trad tuning. And at this point I only knew how to like copy a couple of solos or something off you know, Pink Floyd or something like that, but I hadn't a clue about how to back trad or tunes or anything like that. So then I think it was Laurie Hart. Do you know Laurie? Laurie, Kieran knew him, and then I was torturing Kieran, saying, does anybody teach that? Because Mickey said he didn't teach it, like. So Laurie came down and showed me basics of dadgad and stuff, and then I became sort of obsessed with backing tunes and stuff like that.
I would imagine that something like that just opened up a whole new world. Like you would have been hearing stuff that you would have been consuming by osmosis in a completely different way.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, I didn't really have much interest in it before that point, but I remember that night going to see that and going, I'd love to be able to play, you know, the way that style of playing, you know. So that was sort of what put me back into the trad thing then, and then I never looked back after that.
And then there's something interesting here too, because the songs that your granddad would have been singing, it was all unaccompanied, all a cappella.
Yeah.
And here you are wanting to back trad with a guitar, and then, you know, and there was a time when backing songs and guitar would have been deemed sacrilegious.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Throw in a harmony, and you know, that's like devil worship. So
yeah.
do you know, was that a conflict for you to start to maybe play those songs with backing on a guitar?
I think maybe a wee bit, yes, because I don't know, even still, like, I would be wary of even trying to back some of my granda's songs if I was singing them. Like, you know, a lot of the time I would sing them without the guitar. I don't know why. It's just But a lot of the songs he sang were like free time. You know, there was no beat in them,
And that was the beauty of it.
And so a lot of those songs are probably better without you know, guitar accompaniment. Whereas you know, a lot more of the sort of folk style songs maybe do have a beat in them or a rhythm, so it's easier or it's more natural to back yourself playing. But a lot of the songs that McGarrity would have sang, they just didn't. They suited just being just the voice.
Fácan na gá inis ó Arahori and Fáthcréalta seo. A few words now from the sponsors of this podcast, Music at Maddens. Dunville's Irish whiskey, proudly connected to its past and enthusiastically embracing its future. The spirit of Belfast is back, and it's even better than ever. And I should tell you, Dunville's also sponsors Belfast Tradfest as well. And this Irish whiskey story is one of fame, fortune, tragedy and revival. It does sound epic, doesn't it? Now restored to its rightful place amongst the world's best whiskies, Dunville's award-winning single malt and vintage blend Irish whiskies are synonymous with premium quality, exquisite taste and rich heritage. And for over 18s only, and please drink responsibly. Sláinte. This week's Music at Maddens is brought to you by Anzac Drinks, which is one of the last remaining family-owned businesses in the north, supplying a wide range of spirits and wines and beers and premium exclusive products, proudly supporting local brands and bringing them to bars and restaurants and off licenses, giving them the spotlight they truly deserve. Along with working in partnership with market-leading global brands, they're committed to personal service, competitive pricing and long-term customer relationships. Anzac Drinks are trusted by independent businesses across Northern Ireland for their reliability and expertise, and they are passionate about helping customers discover both retailer favourites and unique finds. Over 18s only, and please drink responsibly. And when you were learning those songs and say learning his style, did you really have to concentrate to learn it? You know, did it take a lot to learn it, or did it come naturally?
Singing in that way, not really. Like it just would have been the way that I sort of heard and learned from a very early age, like because I was listening to the tapes and stuff, and that's the way I kind of sang. But I don't know if I sing that way as much now. There's certainly definitely an element of it, very much so. Like it was a big influence or whatever, but it's I suppose when you bring in the guitar, it changes.
Yeah,
it changes the sort of even the types of songs you sing sometimes. Like
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And then when it comes to, you know, putting an album together, which you've done twice now, and Rachel's been on both as well, and you're kind of like the secret weapon on his albums because the fiddle playing along with the songs and then the harmonies. Because you are such a fantastic harmonizer, like honestly. So you can see where the family trait is and the family talent is with coming through. I know you're so uncomfortable with the praise here, aren't you? It's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I suppose like when I was doing fiddle when I was younger, I would have learnt a lot of slow airs, and I would have had to go to singers. Like I remember going up to Art McCrory's house to see Helen, God rest her, and she used to record the songs for me, and then I would go and learn them.
Were you in Donoughmore? So Donoughmore Convent in Donoughmore, County Tyrone would have been very, very well known in the area and further afield for this Cor Gaelic that they had, the Irish choir, which there was a brother Lewis involved in the school and other teachers, Mrs. McCrory and Mrs. Ryan. And Miss Ryan and Yini Ryan. And the beauty of this was coming from Cor Cooley and been brought down the generations where you were singing all these amazing old Irish songs in harmonies, in 3, maybe 4-part harmonies by times. Were you part of that experience?
No, that was before my time, but like I had seen the girls
the legend lived on.
Yeah, doing that. But Helen was great at recording slow airs for me, you know, for competitions and stuff, and I was really it was really important to learn the phrasing, making sure the phrasing and all was right from a singer. So I think that's why that has really helped me with playing with singers, because you really have to understand the song before you even lift your instrument to back it or to play along with it, you know what I mean? So, and you have to be patient as well. Like I know, you know, I teach now, and a lot of kids don't like learning slow airs because they just want to get into a rip of tunes, you know. But there's a real skill in being able to play them and learn them properly. And it really helps you with playing with a singer, like learning, you know, when to just step it back a bit, let them go in and then go in with something. You know, it teaches you to be a bit more restrained in your playing, I think. So I think from learning those slow airs from a singer, you know, even though I wasn't singing them, I was playing them on the fiddle. I think that's really helped me understand like what Niall's doing and, you know, being able to add something then on top of that. But you have to learn the song first.
Yeah, so learning the song first, the pacing, and then also I would imagine, again, this is something possibly as you get older, understanding the emotion of it as well.
Yeah, like when you're 12, 13, you can't possibly understand the depth of the meaning of a song, you know, especially if it's a heart-wrenching tale behind it or something like that, you know.
Or you don't even want to know the story.
I know,
you might just like the tune.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, I like this melody, even though it could be about something really horrible. But, so you can add that as you're older. And I suppose you just, as you say, you develop it through your own life experiences. You can put emotion into things, you know, through your own experiences and stuff, but that really helps when you're playing with a singer. You know, it's a different skill than sitting down and playing, you know, with another, I don't want to say musician because I'm not saying you're not a musician, but you know, a melody player. It's just you just sit down and you play, really. You know, you try and lock in with them, but it's a lot harder playing with a singer, backing with a singer.
And then do you think that was recording your album, then that having Rachel with that understanding of what was required, did that help you to elevate the songs that you were trying to record?
Oh, very much so. It's like, you know, those bits that are added in and harmonies from Rachel and that, it would be, she seems to know just exactly where it needs to be, and it's sort of, but it's fairly natural that way, you know, and it's definitely works for us, you know, and even playing with Damien too, you know, Damien's great for that
Damien
too.
McKee.
Like, Damien McKee, so yeah, it's just sort of natural now because we did start playing together a long time ago, like, so, and even we would have sang in harmonies in that Shansa group, you know, Rachel would have sang harmony there too, and so we've been doing it sort of since, like, and it's
just natural to you, as I'd say at this point.
At this point, yeah, and there's not too many rows. You know.
Sometimes
as long as you just do what Rachel tells you.
Exactly, yes.
No, the other way around. Definitely.
I'm only joking. And then how do you choose songs then? Because, you know, if you're not with your grandest songs, you're not keen on maybe playing those with melody instruments, singing a cappella. What makes a song stand out to you that makes you want to interpret it or add it to your repertoire?
I think a lot of the time it's the melody, like, you know, the melody is the first thing that'll always jump out at you, like, but then if you like the melody, if I like the melody, I'll want to find out more about the song itself, you know, and like it's recently I've just been kind of trying to pick up more songs that I like the melody of, you know, that I like, you know, and even songs that you can do nice harmonies in, because we play a lot together, and with Rachel, you know, I play a lot with Rachel and Damien. You know, I try to get songs that lend themselves to the way we play as well, you know.
So you can almost hear their parts as you're listening to a song or find a song.
Well, yeah, or you know, I'll normally think, oh, that could work, you know, that could work well, you know, and that's but normally it's the melody a lot of the time that what I would sort of go for first, and then
when you're writing songs, because that's something you've started to do more and more. First album there was 2, there was more in the second album. Do you write with the arrangement in mind as well? Do you know about how you're going to play this?
It'd be the melody again, melody and chords. Like I would just get, that'll be the first thing.
I'm just laughing here because sometimes you're just in the middle of doing something and you go, oh, I need to go and record this in my phone. You know, you're cooking and then you have to go. You obviously hear this in your head and you're like, oh, it could be only 2 bars. Yeah. But it's like a wee lick
I
or
realised a few years ago, like, that I forget things very quickly. So, and then started then, if I had a wee melody in my head, but I could be driving or anything, like, you know, so I'd have to record it into my phone in a voice note straight away. So, but some of the dinners were never finished. You know, Rachel had to do the rest.
I'd take over.
Sure, we're all grateful for it because it seems to be working.
No, well, I don't do it too often. Like, you know, like writing the songs, I would be fairly like, I would give up if I thought it wasn't, you know, working. Like, you know, but it's something that I still like doing a lot. Like,
you've been doing a wee bit more research in songs there in the last few years. Now I know that the some research you did with ITMA, the Irish Traditional Music Archive, resulted in your second album, the Roving Journeyman.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a wee bit more about that?
Well, I had got I'd applied to the Arts Council to do a project of research and songs, and part of it was going down to the Traditional Music Archive in Dublin, and Grace Toland was there, and she was great, and showed me everything. And it's like Aladdin's cave, you know, for folk musicians. Like, it's just, there's just books and books, and the stuff they have on their databases and all. It's just, you know, you could spend weeks there, and I know a lot of people do spend a lot of time there, like, but I was doing that and gathering up songs and looking at the themes in songs and things like that, and that was helping with writing the new ones as well. So I took a couple of themes from old songs and revamped them and made new songs with them. But that was all going well until March 2020, and then so I had been down about, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times down to the archive, but it was great, but it was cut short a bit, you know. But that I had done enough that would get me, you know, let me finish the Roving Journeyman album. And
what were the themes that were coming through for you?
Well, there was a lot of songs that were like, you know, the soldier going off to war, and then returning home, and like love and war, emigration, all those sort of normal themes, you know. But looking at the songs would give you a lot of ideas, you know, even lyrically and stuff like that, for writing the newer songs. So it was more just looking at the themes and then seeing what ideas was within that theme, and it sort of give you. But you really could spend ages in there. Like, the days just flew, you know, when you're in there.
You find it something that you're just genuinely very interested in, you connect with, clearly.
That's
now.
It. Oh, very much so, yeah.
Down the rabbit hole, and away you go. But it's more real, more tangible in your hands rather than just being on the phone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Online.
Yeah, and it's like the history element. I just love history, like, and even looking at old songs and finding out where they came from, or how old they are. A lot of the time you can never find out how old they are. But all of that stuff, I love doing all that. So it's like it's like a hobby, you know, just a hobby sort of thing, you know. But it was great, and it helped a lot, you know, with that second album. Yeah,
the second album. How challenging was it, given that the first was so successful?
I don't know. Like, it was, I kind of did a bit, and then I stopped, you know, because I had to go back teaching, you know, in school, because music was like there was no
lockdown.
with the lockdown and all the rest. So music was done, and I was lucky enough to get back into teaching in a school near home, and so I kind of stalled it for a while, and then eventually came back to it. So it was kind of done in bits and pieces, whereas the first one was done in a short space of time. So it was different that way. But it got there eventually. I know. I remember saying to myself, "Look, I'll just take my time with it, you know, and whenever it's done, it's done." And that's what I did then. So,
but you'd also worked on a book about your granddad in the meantime
as
well.
Right. That
so
was
like you weren't. It wasn't as if you weren't busy.
Oh yeah. No, that's it. It was there was a lot of things, different bits going on. So, but I hadn't made my mind up that I was just going to chip away at it, and whenever it was done, type thing, you know. So,
and what's he like when he's coming up with an idea for an album or?
No, like, yeah, I just find it very interesting because I can't understand what he's able to do. But I think the fact that you took more time and didn't rush it probably, you know, things turn out better when, you know, when they're not rushed, like, and you could really go back and look at things and be like, no, do you know what, actually, I don't like that, I'm going to change it. But he just goes off and just goes into his own wee bubble, and then when he's like, oh, what do you think of this, you know, it's great being able to hear it for the first time, because then you know straight away, oh, well, you're onto something with that, you know.
Yeah, it's a good soundboard too, like.
Well, like, you have to be honest.
Oh,
but,
absolutely, yeah.
You know,
but no, it's nice. And then with Damien as well, it's kind of all worked out too.
So you've mentioned Damien loads, and Damien's coming to join you tonight to play at this Sunday song gig here in Maddens. How has this partnership, where it's not even a partnership because it's a trio of you three playing together, and it's gorgeous and it so works, but how did it all start?
I think I started playing with Damien first. You see, I would have done the dance shows abroad for a long time when I finished university. Or maybe
and that was a big part of yoga's world as well at the time.
Yeah, because it was Neve I was filling in for. I think maybe she was going on honeymoon. She was just married. And then Liam, I had done another show previous to that with Liam, and Liam asked me to fill in for her while she was away. So I got to know Damien through that, and I'd never played with him before, and I remember practicing the tunes for it and thought, oh my god, I'm getting to play with Damien. Getting to play with Liam, like all of them, but I was like, I'm getting to play with Damien McKee. I was so nervous, like.
Why? What was it about his music?
I don't know, just like, you know, Bjogar's such a big name even when we were you know, when we were in our late teens.
Still are.
Yeah, like they're just so big. And then you know, I'd never met Damien personally, but heard so much about him, heard him playing, thought he is incredible, like. And I don't know, I was very young and naive, and I was just nervous going to play with somebody of that standard.
Who you really admired.
Yeah, so I learnt the stuff inside and out. I was like, by God, I'm going to make a good impression here, or try to, you know, that way. But so I got to know Damien through that experience, and oh my God, I just thought he was the nicest person ever. He's a gentleman, like, totally through and through, and really, like, you know, took me under his wing and showed me the ropes, and I learnt a lot from him actually doing that. And then I think then
we had a trip to France a couple of years ago. Was the first
and we went
sort of
with
thing.
Damien then as well.
We asked Damien.
And then he asked us to do bits on his album last year, which came out as well. So yeah, no, it just kind of blossomed.
It sort of went from there. It was pretty natural. But the trip to France was the first. I think it might have been the first gig that we did.
Yeah, the three of us.
Over in Albier.
Celta Seams Festival.
And we went there. And when we came home, then we just decided to keep
at it,
keep gigging, you know. Yeah. But Damien was recording at the time as well.
That's right, because you did the two albums at the same time, and then you did a double launch here in Belfast at Belfast Trad Fest.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even a double gig because it was kind of, but you all played together and all complimented each other the whole time.
So I suppose it made sense because roughly the same musicians had played on both CDs. So you're kind of like, well, why don't we just?
So we just do one big set.
Yeah.
And so it was great, and
it was such good fun.
We did a good few gigs with I think there was maybe seven of us, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So it was great, but yes, we've just been playing with Damien a lot recently, and it's all very natural, like, and as Rachel was saying, he's just such a nice person and very easy to get on with, like, and so it makes it even easier, like.
Yeah. And then whenever you perform as a trio, I imagine that it's very equal, and what you do is tunes and songs, very very balanced, letting everybody shine and kind of come through.
Well, like we do a mix of tunes and songs, and myself and Damien managed to twist Rachel's arm into singing a song as well, so she'll be singing later on, hopefully. So
only one.
I saw you at the John O'Neill weekend in Donoughmore, in the stage of Donoughmore Convent, where you're very comfortable, a couple of years ago, and you got some reception when you sang that night, and people couldn't believe that you were stepping out a wee bit from behind the backing vocals and the fiddle to sing. Why the reluctance?
I don't know what it is. Like, I think it's because I play with you a lot. You know, you like your class, and then I just don't want to get up and ruin it. Not ruin it, but I just wouldn't have the same confidence at all.
We had to do a lot of
no.
we had to try and
I might
lot of
back out
encouragement.
a
later
lot of
on.
encouragement, like, but I don't know why. Like,
I know
Was
that
it bribing her or what worked?
a few drinks in there.
Get the points lined up. No, I don't know what it is. I think like when you're on one instrument, you feel so comfortable on it, and then when you try something new, it's like, it's not the same, you know. But no, I'm starting to kind of come into it a bit more. I love the backing vocals, though. You can just like, you know, get stuck into something, but you're just nicely in the background. You don't have to be. I don't like being front and centre of the stage type thing. I think that's what it is, to be honest.
Well, maybe that's your charm too, Rachel, the fact that the talent is there, but that's just not where you want to be at the moment. The two of you are from Tyrone, as we've established here, just slightly apart, just a few miles apart. How important is being from Tyrone to you in your music and what you do?
It's massive, like, you know, the calibre of musicians in Tyrone, you know, I'm just thinking of like, you know, the Haydens, Bridge, Claire O'Neill, and they're only about a couple of miles from where I'm from Dungannon originally. Hughie Hetherington, like, that's what I would have grown up, and it's all fiddle music, you know.
A lot of fiddle music,
a lot of fiddle music. Very lucky, like, to be exposed to all of that from such a young age. But
And in Dungannon, it would have been like a bit of a sleeping giant there for a long time, Rachel, where, yes, you had the fort, but there wouldn't have been the exposure maybe for younger children to the music that was there, the legends that were living amongst them. You wouldn't have really known their stories. Thankfully, that narrative is changing. And I know there's a lot of people like you who are actively making sure that happens.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, Yvonne O'Donnell set up the Cultus in Dungannon, so Dungannon never had a Cultus branch as far as I'm aware. Because when I was growing up, it was
years and years ago in St Patrick's Hall.
Oh yeah.
That shows you how ancient
I know St Patrick's Hall. I used to go to Irish dancing classes there as well.
Because I'm from Dungannon too.
I know, up the Clarks. But no, Yvonne set that up, and then it was massive. So we used the old convent in Dungannon, and the amount of tutors we had, and the amount of kids, and then COVID came again and just took the wind out of the sails a bit. But it's been taken over by another committee now, and it's still going. And I suppose you want to give something back, like, to the community you're from. You know, that's really important. But like Dungannon, like, we would go to Quinn's down Scotch Street now for tunes, and I just love it in there.
Oh no, it's
like,
great.
You know, we love Maddens. We absolutely love Maddens, but you know,
you can't come here all the time.
Exactly,
know,
and
you live at home.
you can't walk home from here. But to have a bar like that in Dungannon, you know, we've taken our friend like Damon and Emmons down, and it's always a great. It's a lovely tune in there, like,
something special.
You know, it's great Dungannon Bar, and you'd have the, you know, the old timers that would do their session in there as well. But like Dungannon, there's music there to be had. It's just you do need to look hard for it, like, you know.
I need to find it.
Yeah.
And then Niall, you mentioned the Geordie Hanna weekend at the start of our chat today. You've kind of that wrapped up a couple of years ago. It had kind of done its time, and then recently there, and a couple of years ago, the Loch Shore sessions have evolved, kind of taken over the mantle and kind of carrying on that lovely tradition of the first weekend in November. I loved how you set it up that same weekend. It was just really nice. But the Loch Shore sessions, so tell me all about those, because you're still in the infancy, but definitely it's looking like a weekend not to be missed.
Yeah, like the Geordie weekend finished in 2017, I think was the last year. So, but I know sort of myself and Kieran and the younger generation, it would have been, you know, my aunts and the committee would have been running the Geordie Festival. But whenever it was gone, we sort of, myself and Brian, my cousin Brian, and a few of us were sort of saying, you know, we're sort of missing having this. And you know, Derrytresk is a great place. You know, it's always very welcoming to musicians and music, and we had some fantastic years with the Geordie Festival. So we thought, you know, we'll try and revive it and maybe call it the Loch Shore Sessions, because you know, the book had been done, and about my grandfather, and the festival had finished, and it was sort of like closing one chapter, open another chapter, you know. And so we're coming now into doing our third year of the festival now. So it is growing, and we've a lot of good people, behind it as well, and great support from the football club there too, which is vital. Like, and it's we've had a couple of great weekends, and we're all gearing up now for this year. So hopefully it'll be.
I'm excited already.
Yeah,
like we know who the lineup is, but we haven't released it yet. But
so we'll have to.
It's the 7th to the 9th of November, isn't that the dates?
7th.
Just
We had to go a week later this
on
year.
point there, get it out there.
It's because of the Halloween.
Because of the Halloween break.
Halloween falls this year.
I think it clashes with Ennis. So.
Okay.
But
it's a really
we might
good
be
lineup.
all right.
For those who can't make it to Ennis, they could make it the length of Derrytresk for some good tunes and songs.
That's
right.
Yeah. If previous lineups are anything to go by, and you never know, we might hear from yourselves as well, maybe. Or at some stage, you'd be probably playing sessions afterwards anyway.
That's it. Tunes and stuff. Yeah.
We do organise a lot of sessions, but it's quite geared towards the singing though. Still, there's like a big singing session on the Saturday during the day. And
sessions for kids too.
Yes,
well,
we linked up then with the Coldest branch there. There was a session, and last year they actually did a collaboration with Ryan Malloy and Fergal Scahill. He the two of them took the kids from the local Coldest branch and did a collaboration. Like, so it was great. So we've we're gearing up for this year. So hopefully it'll go well.
7th to the 9th of November. And that's the Loch Shore sessions. Follow them on social media and Instagram. Niall Hanna and Rachel McGarrity, it was class to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely brilliant to have this opportunity. Up Tyrone, there's a match on at the minute, and
we
have no idea what the score is, and we need to go and find out whether or not Tyrone have survived in this year's championship.
Crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All the best. Thanks
a million.